Greetings, citizens, and thanks for tuning in to Nindie Nation. I'm Jeff, and today on episode 132, we're taking a look at every indie game hitting the Nintendo Switch through the week ending January 16th. You can find Nindie Nation on Twitter, come chat with us on Discord, or check out the week's new releases with us right here on YouTube every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern during our Nindies at Night stream. Now, as you know, we always start the episode with the games that released since the last episode. We usually have 5, 6, maybe 9 on a crazy week. They're not usually very good, save for 1 or 2 on occasion, and you know this because you've listened. Last week, there were 15. So this week, we're gonna start with the 15 Neglected Nindies that released since episode 131. Okay, there's actually a few worth discussing, so we'll start there. Nindie newcomer Mental Drink released a 90s-style 2D fighting game called Fightin' Jokes for $19.99. The artwork looks fantastic, and I get some serious X-Men Children of the Atom vibes. Apparently it's all a bit silly, poking fun at modern fighting games and all, but it looks like it walks the walk, too. $20 is too much for me as a casual fighting game fan, but hey, let's keep an eye on the reviews. And then, oddly enough, Gallup Karaglu and Stun Games release another 2D fighting game, this one with more of a hand-drawn art style. It's called Dual Souls: The Last Bearer, which provides context to the 2-fighter per team setup, which harkens back to Marvel vs. Capcom. Interesting. This one doesn't seem as impressive, but it's also half the price at only $9.99, and it looks pretty solid. Mira Games and Cubite Interactive released a quirky little 2D platformer called Watermelon Blocks for $2.99. Hit the switches, avoid the traps, you know the drill. If you want to see more of this one on Nindies at Night, let me know. And Ultimate Games published Theater of Sorrows by Mobile Way, which is a $10 port of a mobile adventure game set on a Lovecraftian island of spookies. Yes, that one made the cut not to be a no-no, which can only mean it's time, so let's get this over with. If it's not clear enough, don't buy any of these. Splotches by Click Team looks like someone ate a huge bowl of Skittles, dropped a box of Jenga pieces on a chessboard, and then barfed when they bent over to pick it up. Geography Quiz Festival Guess the Countries from Trigger the Monster is an easy way to sell Google results to suckers. Benjamin Kistler wants $5 for a free demo he exported, and he called it Racing Karts so his abomination would show up when people searched the eShop for Mario Kart.
Satbox
is a publisher who has never released anything worthwhile, despite having a large catalog, and that doesn't change this week with Work It Out Job Challenge. My guess is they were like,
"Hey Jan, do we still have that game we were developing for the Wii?"
You mean the one that we never finished because the sacrificial babies we kept in the barn kept interrupting us?
Yeah, that one. Put it on the eShop. I'm hungry, and I need some money to buy more sexy luchador outfits.
CC Games released Chess Clash of Kings for $10, and it's mobile phone chess with Comic Sans font, so that's great. And then the team, or person? Punctuation, people, please. Anyways, we've got something from Eric Games
Yazalim Technologieri Limited Circetti.
What? They released Mindpull, and I have no clue what the f*** it is. Jigsaw Master Kids is Bottle Cube's easiest way to cut woodland creatures into tiny pieces. Alone Music is the Guitar Hero ripoff you never knew you never wanted to know about. Day of the Dead Solitaire Collection is $20, yet barely worth a penny, and it has 25 pieces of DLC. Because why commit all 7 deadly sins when you can just ride a greed rocket right to the moon? And if you want to find JPEGs on top of JPEGs, Ocean Media's got, Faircroft's Antiques, the Forbidden... I lost it. Where'd it go? The Forbidden Cave of Where I Left My Dignity or something. Finally, if all of that wasn't enough, Ocean Media's also selling cat pictures for $10 with I Love Finding Cats Collector's Edition. Wait, why Collector's Edition? Oh, because it includes cat pictures from Christmas. Of course. It's the perfect thing to release on January 6th, you
Mamma mia!
Yep, it was today, my friends. I was today years old when I witnessed the death of a friend. Someone I hold dear, trusted like a family member, and always one I thought I could count on. You'll be missed, Nintendo Seal of Quality. Hey, you want either of those fighting games or the watermelon thing? Let me know down in the comments. If so, I'm going to go take a shower, because that felt dirty. Now for the good news and bad news game. The good news is that we're on to the new releases. The bad news is that, well, these are the 12 new releases hitting the Nintendo Switch through Sunday, January 16th. Named, I assume, after an adult film based on sci-fi classics, Star Balls is a cross between Marble Madness and golf, created by Boulder Games. It's only $7, brings a fun, silly vibe to the mix, and for fans of mini golf or physics puzzles, might be worth taking a look at. On January 11th, I think we've got the worst game I've ever seen. No, this isn't PixArts or Benjamin Kistler or any of those monsters. This time, there's a studio called Magic Dwee Doo, and they seem not only aware of what they've created, but incredibly proud of their ability to take a digital dump on the eShop. Dwee Mixed Thwee Pack is a collection of things that barely count as games, lumped together with acid trip interstitials and advertised with all of the pomp and circumstance of a frat boy doing a keg stand. To add insult to injury, this thing launches for $16.99 and just... why? The big Thursday drop on January 13th fares a little better, though, as we kick off with a long-beloved indie called Astroneer, which releases by way of System-era Softworks. Astroneer is a well-reviewed space simulator that's been on other platforms for years. Its big hook is giving you a terraforming gun so that as you build your camps, which you'll need to survive the harshness of space in, there's a fun therapeutic tool that lets you do so. It's also got 4-player co-op on and offline, and nearly 5 years of updates baked in, but it's also $30, so I'd probably wait for reviews or a sale before diving in, unless of course you're among the hardest of core space survival fans. Speaking of sci-fi themed indie games that have been on other platforms for more than half a decade, No Gravity Games and Funktronic Labs have ported Nova 111 to the Switch. This title mixes all kinds of genres together to create a tactical strategy puzzle game? You play as a robot, the game takes place on a grid, and everything moves in turns, but also kinda in real time. I really like the look of this game, but I think I'd need to play it for myself to really get what's going on here. It's $10, so it's not a huge risk. I don't know, maybe we can check it out on Nindies at Night this week. Developer and publisher GameBra.in,
Don't even think of correcting me in the comments.
release a simple MC Escher-style puzzle game with Hocus 2 for $3.74.
And that's all I had to say about that.
Developer and publisher Visual Noveler seems out of their element this week, but Eternal Radiance has my attention nonetheless. This $20 action RPG looks to be heavily inspired by the Ys games, or maybe the early Tales entries if you played those, and is a hack-and-slash JRPG about, the same thing that every JRPG is about. Something, chosen one, quest to find herself, oh snap, we gotta save the world, that old chestnut. It looks really fun if you're into this type of game, but I'd also need to see a review for this one to know if it truly delivers and is worth the asking price. Oh, here we go. You knew this was coming. At first glance, a new turn-based tower defense game starring a bunch of chibi characters seems like not the worst idea, But then you see that Dual Princess is published by Query8, and you just know there's gotta be some kind of element that requires these anime warrior princesses to get naked. Now, I can't confirm that for myself, but I would probably compare giving money to Query8 for something that might actually not be entirely perverted to be a lot like donating money to the Epstein Fund for Children in Need. Hey, you know that series where you fly a bird thing around serene worlds? Yeah, Airy, that's the one. Well, Epic Games is back at it again with Airy Dreamscape for $9.99. You fly a bird-like thing around serene environments and collect things. I kind of want to give one of these a try someday, not gonna lie. Anyone here ever played one? We've covered this topic before, but for those of you new to Nindie Nation, we're in a bit of a shmup renaissance right now, and in the best way. Back in the early Xbox 360 days, Microsoft was funding anything they could that they thought would help the console find traction in Japan. And the result was a handful of JRPGs, a few fighters, and a smorgasbord of fantastic shoot-'em-ups. One of which is the cute-developed Escados, which is being ported to the Switch this week for $26.99. I love these re-releases, but the price points always seem, exploitative, as if they're just finding a price point that fits somewhere between what the game should cost, maybe $10 or so, and what the import original is going for on the used market. I do love these games, and Escados is one that has flown under the radar, so I do recommend it, and I really want to play it for myself, but I also gotta say, just probably wait for a sale. Every so often, as I'm researching for Nindie Nation, I come across a game that immediately makes me stop what I'm doing and reach out to the developer, as you can see here. And Headland by Northplay is exactly one of those games. Sitting somewhere between an action RPG and an adventure game a la Zelda, Headland takes place in the imaginary world of a boy who is escaping the drab realities of his life. It's colorful, it's got combat that looks fast, simple, and fun, and it has an on-the-nose theme song that is just too good. Oh no, now it's stuck in my head. Land. Anyways, I dig what this game's doing, and I would love to check it out. Hopefully I can get a copy of it for Nindies at Night, and if so, we can check it out together and find out if it's worth the $20 asking price. Hey, you want to point a reticle at watermelons in a bus? No, you probably don't. Sniper Time, the shooting range, claims to be a
worldwide popular shooter with millions fans all over the world.
So either they're lying, or this is some ploy based on downloads of a free-to-play mobile game. Either way, at $4.90, or really at any price, I cannot recommend this release by Papetka Games. And finally this week, that was quick, wasn't it? We get the sequel to a murder mystery visual novel that was pretty well received when it released in the summer of 2020. Josai, the Second Turn HD by Ratalaika Games is indeed a murder mystery visual novel, so that already places it in a very specific niche, but with hand-drawn artwork and full English voice acting, if you were into the first one, know that you can pick up right where it left off when Josai, the Second Turn HD releases on January 14th for $7.99. Really not much there this week, is there? But I guess it's better than the Neglected Nindies, granted so is a trip to the dentist, but hey, Headland, Starballs, Nova 111, and Eternal Radiance could all have their audience. If you happen to fall in any of those, let me know down in the comments. Probably the best news for this week, though, is that yet one more massive indie sale has hit the eShop, and this might be the best one yet. Today's list will focus on games that I doubt many of you have played, as well as some of the all-time greats. These are the 9 Nindies at their lowest prices ever, through at least January 16th. Make no mistake, my friends, if you're a fan of JRPGs, action RPGs, or any kind of story-based game from the Super Nintendo through PlayStation era, you owe it to yourself to check out Crosscode. One of my favorite games of 2020, this kickstarted RPG follows a young girl who is seemingly stuck inside an MMO and needs to piece together her memories to figure out what's going on. Everything you love about RPGs is here in spades, plus the story and characters are wonderful, and the combat system is easy to grasp, always evolving, and super satisfying. Crosscode also features Zelda-like dungeons, which I think stand out as some of the most fun in the genre. If you can't tell, I love Crosscode, which is why, with a 40% discount, it tops today's list at $11.99. And a game that's featured in this year's top 10 list, which is coming soon, is the roguelike brawler Tunche. This game is really fun solo, but an absolute blast in multiplayer. It's classic arcade-style beat-em-up action, but with loot to gather, abilities to learn, skill trees to tackle, and 5 characters with unique playstyles. At 30% off, $13.99 might be a bit too much for everyone, but if you've already played Streets of Rage 4 and River City Girls, consider Tunche as your next game in the genre, which also happens to include procedurally generated levels, rogue-like mechanics, and RPG elements! If a simple side-scrolling run-and-gunner is your cup of tea, you need to check out Huntdown while it's 60% off for $7.99. Themed around 80s sci-fi action movies, Huntdown looks, sounds, and plays beautifully, with 3 different characters to suit your playstyle. It's grim, it's dark, and it is incredibly polished. There's about 6 hours of content here, so it's fairly short, but there's a couple hours more if you want to go for 100%, but either way, it's well worth the price. Here's a little hidden gem, if you will, a Nindie that released just a couple months after the Switch itself. Mighty Gunvolt Burst is a love letter to Mega Man X that also includes characters with melee abilities, a full RPG and upgrade system, and tons of modes on top of New Game Plus to help stretch your game time even further. What's more is that Mighty Gunvolt Burst is just $4 this week, and there's a demo if you want to try it out first. If you pick this one up, let me know what you think. And a gem that isn't hidden but should still be considered by everyone is the incredible 2018 release of The Messenger, which is 60% off for $7.99. This is probably the best, or at least in the top 3 of the indie games that released that year. It takes elements of Ninja Gaiden and Metroid to build an action platformer with parallel worlds that pretty much does everything as well as you could hope. It is pretty tough, but now features an assist mode, so if that scared you off before, maybe now is the time to try again. If you've never played The Messenger, please know that it comes with Nindie Nation's highest recommendation. You know what we don't have enough of on the Switch? Strategy RPGs, specifically those that play like Final Fantasy Tactics. If you agree, then Felseal Arbiter's Mark is the game for you. I guess there's 2 pitches to the game. On one hand, if you're looking for a fully featured strategy RPG, Felseal is among the best. But like I said, the easiest pitch is to those of you who love Final Fantasy Tactics. This isn't a cheap game either, so if it is what you're looking for, pick this one up while it's 66% off for $10.19. Late last year, I checked out a demo for Grim Valor and found a janky, fairly cheap little indie that was heavily inspired by games like Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I bought the game on sale and was then sucked into it for about a week while I played it to 100% completion, even including a New Game Plus run. Is Grim Valor an excellent game? I don't know, probably not, but I really enjoyed my time with it. The combat is very Souls-inspired with heavy emphasis on dodging attacks while timing your own, and it's got a bit of a roguelike formula where you die, return to a checkpoint, and then upgrade your character with the currency you gathered. It's half off for $6.49, and I easily got that much out of this game. Don't go in expecting a masterpiece, but if you're in a Castlevania-type mood or enjoyed games like 3000th Duel and want something a bit more streamlined, consider taking a chance on Grim Valor. Also in 2020, one of my favorite games, if not my number one, was Panzer Paladin by Tribute Games. Unfortunately, that game barely ever goes on sale, but a wonderful little run-and-gun that Tribute released a few years prior, Mercenary Kings, is currently on sale, currently half off for $9.99. Clearly inspired by Metal Slug, you explore big open levels to either rescue hostages, complete tasks, or just reach the other side. Afterwards, you unload all your loot and can customize your weaponry in ways that turn you into a powerhouse of ridiculously fun weapons. Fans of Contra or Metal Slug will definitely find a lot to like with Mercenary Kings. And rounding out this week's list is one of the most beloved indies to grace the Switch, as Dead Cells is half off, now dropping all the way down to $12.49. If you've never played Dead Cells, now is the time to pick it up, as after 3.5 years of updates, including 3 optional paid DLCs, the game is finally content complete. It's a side-scrolling action game with some of the best locomotion you will ever find. It is so fast and so smooth, and the roguelike formula is present in a way that makes people say,
I don't usually like roguelikes, but I love Dead Cells.
With hundreds of hours of content and one of the most satisfying gameplay loops out there, if you're still in the dark about why Dead Cells is one of the most successful indies around, pick it up while it's on sale and find out for yourself what all the fuss is about. See? Even if there isn't a new game for you this week, there's more than enough to keep you busy with the sales. Even on top of that list, there's a bunch of other indies that are also at their lowest prices ever, including Grease, Untitled Goose Game, Ori and the Blind Forest, Ruiner, Broforce, Katana Zero, Bug Fables, and many, many more. The sale is live through January 20th, so you've got some time, but I'd act fast because after 3 massive sales in a row, my guess is that the deals are going to cool off for a while after these discounts expire. Go head down to the comments and let me know what you're picking up, and if you want to encourage others to check out one of your favorite games while they're also on sale, go for it. The Game of the Year video is coming along nicely and should be finished this week, so please keep a lookout for that. And by the time you're hearing this, the first round of your Game of the Year voting should be live, so go check the YouTube community tab to cast your vote. Also, we're going to start our Backlog Club playthrough of Freedom Planet at the release of next week's episode. So if you pick the game up, feel free to start whenever you want. Between the Game of the Year voting, the Backlog Club, and a slew of great eShop deals, there's a lot of reasons to join us on Discord. So if you've been on the fence, now is a great time to come hang out. The link is listed in this video's description, and as always, you can also find Nindie Nation on Twitter. Next week's eShop lineup is looking much better than this week, with Windjammers 2 leading the way and a solid variety of games in its wake. But that's all for next week, citizens, because we're all done for today. Thanks so much for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing Nindie Nation with others. Until next week, I'm Jeff. This has been Nindie Nation episode 132, and remember, no matter what type of game you're looking for, Nindie Nation will be right here to help you find just the thing to keep your Joy-Cons synced.